and welcome to Front Porch Chat with Randy and Friends. Coming to you today with my good friend Glenda Chauncey from the Front Porch here at Florella. Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great, thank you.
You know, we're so excited about our next show. Our next show is actually going to be live on a week from Sunday, going back to television. But today we wanted to give you just a little bit more of a hint of what the show is going to have in the future. So we're going to get right to it, Glenda. We're not going to waste any time. Let's have a drink first, though.
Yeah.
Everybody, if
it's a
you
little
see the
warm
little
out
Betty
here.
icon coming up in the corner of your screen, that's an indication to take a drink with us. So.
Yeah, definitely join us.
Oh my God, I'm spilling it all over myself. Okay.
Way to start.
Way to start the show. All right, we're going to get right into it. Social media, it's become like a hate fest lately. You know, in the last 3 or 4 years, it's gone from being fun to being very hateful. I mean, people don't care that they're being nasty behind a keyboard. What do you think, Glenda?
Well, you know, I mean, 4 years ago, let's face it, it was a great way, a platform to talk about your business or events, promotions, your family, sending nice little pictures and videos back and forth, and it was all wonderful and great. I think everybody was kind of the etiquette. You wanted to be good and,
right.
you know, not do the wrong things.
And we didn't think it was safe to be mean, if you want the
Well,
truth.
no, absolutely. I'm sure, like, people felt, you know, we got to be careful what we say and how we say it in our delivery. Well, it seems like to me in the last 2 years, it has just progressively become very bad, the way we're expressing anger and hate. And I mean, I can think of all the words, but here's what I think. I think what's happening is people have learned this little bit of power. I know you don't like when I use that word, but there's
Why would I not like the word power?
Well, because it is a strong word, but you know, I know for a fact if you were out there in the public and here they're saying something about you and it's not in the best light, they're not going to come up and say it to your face. I mean, let's face it.
But
they're
here's
not
the
going to
deal.
do that.
Don't you think people in politics, people that are public, people that are in high positions of influence, they don't have that same right to privacy?
Well, you do sign up for it all. I mean, if you're going to say, I'm going to get a part of a TV show, or I'm going to be part of a nonprofit, and I'm going to be out there, and I'm going to get that recognition, I guess you're going to have
It is noisy on the streets of Florella today. It is noisy up in
It is noisy.
here.
Good news. But, you know, it's just unfortunate that it's gotten to a place where it is affecting businesses. It is, you know, right now there's like a campaign going on saying say no to cyberbullying. I mean, this has become a serious thing, and it's adults that are doing it.
Oh, it's adult. I mean, I think that we certainly still have an issue with children.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
And the issue of cyberbullying. But right now, this adult bullying has gotten out of control. I'm watching people lose jobs. I'm watching people lose spouses, relationships, friendships. I mean, you name it.
Yeah.
Somebody can unfriend you one day, and all of a sudden you think your world is falling apart.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
What is that? And
Well,
then people have to explain why they unfriended you. Well, I unfriended you because you're depressed and you're sad and you're making me mean and angry. So just leave me alone.
Well, I mean, and I can't wait to do a show. I've been wanting to do one for a while now.
Another show, folks.
Another show.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first. But I mean, I watch my friends, even girlfriends that I know, and they just go out and put their business like it's toilet paper. I mean, it is unbelievable.
Toilet paper. Right here on the front porch. No,
You're on
I've
the front
actually
porch.
seen some of your friends, because I'm friends with some of your friends, and I see some of them post their dates and their experiences on their dates. I can't imagine why any guy who goes and looks at them would want to go out with them.
Well, because if you have a bad experience, now you're going in social media and letting everybody, now they don't name the name, thank God. I mean, they keep the name away.
Yeah, but they tell enough about the statistics
and size.
It's like, why would you?
Inside.
Why would you want to go out with them if you already know what you have to look forward to?
And you gotta think. I mean, you gotta think that these guys that are watching them, and these are beautiful girls.
Oh my God, they're all
gorgeous.
very attractive.
You know, and you gotta think these guys are going, I'm not going anywhere near that. I mean,
speaking of social media, we're gonna move on to the next issue. One last thing I want to talk about. You know, this thread just came out today on Orange County Political Voice, and just many of you probably don't even know what that is. This is a political page that was started back in 2012. I was posting things on a different page on Facebook, and someone was like, you know what, please stop posting political stuff. So we created this political page, and it has its ups and its downs controversially, but the reality is even today there was that comment that went up. I actually shared an article where there are some teachers here in Central Florida that shared something regarding vaginas are on fire. and that post went to 300 comments, y'all. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, if we had said balls are sweaty or whatever, would we still be doing all this? And I don't want to spend too much time on this, Glenda, but Why does that bother people so much?
You know, first of all, texting, again, people wake up. I mean, I'm so tired of people not realizing what you text is somehow going to make it to the media. Stop it. Grow up.
It's hot up in here.
I mean, yeah, it is hot up in here. I mean, grow up.
The media, damn media.
Well, listen, it's going to happen. So,
right.
you know, be a grown up. I mean, to write out vagina or penis or balls or whatever you want to do, and it's directed at whoever they were directing
sweaty
that
balls.
at. Yeah, you know, honestly, what I'm saying is, stop it. Be an adult.
Wait a minute.
Be
Are you
mature.
saying that what they did? They should not. These guys are going through. It was a supervisor.
They deserve it.
Oh, they do deserve it.
They do deserve it.
Oh, so that one.
They deserve
that
it.
one,
Absolutely.
That one mistake, they might deserve
Absolutely.
to lose their jobs.
Well,
Right,
I didn't say lose their jobs, but they definitely need to be put on some type of suspension or some apology, something. Because the bottom line is, you're an adult. Why would you put the word vagina anywhere in a conversation that had to do with children? That's just ridiculous.
Okay, well, it wasn't two children, Glenda. It was between two men, and one was on his way to work, and he was basically telling the other, take your time because vaginas are on fire. That's what he said.
Well, I don't even know what that means, but all I'm going to tell you, the vagina's on fire, that means something to do with the fact that they're school principals. One was a principal, one was an assistant principal. Bottom line is, it's to do with children. I don't care. They can sugarcoat it or whatever they want to say.
Oh, but the children weren't affected by the comment. Listen, I think there's nothing good about what they said. Listen, I've personally been on the radio before, and I've made comments that were taken out of context, and you know, or at least it wasn't what I meant to say, and I've got to believe these guys didn't mean to.
Stop writing stuff down. I mean, come on, it's very simple. I mean, if you get in a heated debate and something comes off because you're in a heated debate, that's one thing. But when you're sitting there and you're texting, you mean to tell me the word vagina, he didn't think for one moment, maybe I shouldn't use that word. I mean, come on.
He probably did. All right, everyone, we're going to wrap up this little segment. We're going to have Betty out here in just a second. Again, we have Front Porch Chat with Randy back on television a week from Sunday, so we're so excited about that. We have an amazing show coming up for you next week. So please make sure you tune in every Sunday at 11.
Randy and Friends.
You know, on social media the other day, I saw someone post a picture of the Klux Klan and said they're still around whether you think they are or not. Now, I look around downtown Orlando and, you know, different places. Even when I lived up in Indianapolis, Indiana, I've never seen a Klan meeting. I don't know anything about that. My great-grandparents didn't own slaves. My grandparents didn't own slaves. They were sharecroppers. My parents didn't own slaves, and certainly I haven't owned slaves. So at what point am I no longer responsible for the challenges that the black community has had? And we've often tried to work in the black community and found that somewhat of a struggle. You even have a friend right now who's starting a project over there and already getting some pushback.
She's already getting pushback, and she is a white woman, and she's trying to do something really good for the community, and because she's experienced it herself, and I think she has every right to do that, especially if she's working with others that want to bring that to the table. Here's my thing. You know, first of all, that picture to me, it's disgusting. I mean, look, that's history. I'm hoping that still doesn't exist. I pray to God it's not happening. But, you know, to put that up there just to get that fire and the fuel going and what is that going to accomplish? I'm trying to get it. You're trying to expose it. I get it. You're going to expose it like those kids did, or from the college, and you know it's disgusting. I mean, there's no other word to describe what I saw and what I heard. You know, it's a group of people. The guy stood up and said he's not going to, I think the president of the school, if I'm not mistaken, you know, and said we're not going to tolerate this. And that's what we have to start doing, because if we're going to embrace it or engage it, either way, on either side.
You're talking about the Sigma Alpha Epsilon chant.
Yeah, when they're on a plane, or were they on a plane or just in a party or group or some, I don't know exactly where they were.
That was not my fraternity.
Yeah.
I was a Theta Chi.
Well, you know, it's sad because you're looking at a younger generation that's keeping this going, and to me it's just sad. It really, you know, I teach my son, and you know, we've got to start teaching our kids.
But we're watching. I mean, even your friend that's starting the garden got an email or a message from someone who really didn't understand why she was doing it, and I thought to myself, why would anyone question good when you have good things you're doing in your community? I don't care where you live. embrace those people that are trying to do those things. Don't judge them or evaluate them. I mean, when I hear things like that, it's like, why would people even do good things?
You know, I sometimes I wonder. I mean, when we did the Mrs. Smith project, I mean, God rest her soul, she just recently passed, and you know, that was such an eye-opener for me to be a part of that. And I got to tell you, only reason I was there was to help her. It didn't have anything to do with anybody else. It was to make sure that she had a home that she could enjoy for the last, I think she was there almost a year, was she not?
Right.
Or close to it, a little over a year. You know, and we did it out of the kindness of our heart. We didn't want anything out of it. And the same thing with this girl. You know, she went through this herself. She's been on Ivy Lane as a homeless person. It's not like she's just making something up.
Well,
you
what
know?
I heard when I read the comment was, not in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
Take it someplace else.
Yeah.
And isn't that the message that we keep hearing over and over again, is not in our neighborhood?
Yeah.
And so I guess as we kind of try to wrap that up, Glenda, you know, the racism issue, when people say that whites are not racist towards blacks or Hispanics or Asian, they're lying, I think.
Yeah.
And I don't think the majority of people are. I'm saying that for the most part, we are still a
Yeah.
very racist society.
Yeah,
there are
absolutely.
many people who cannot wait for our black president to be done. And it's not because he's been a bad president. It's because they probably weren't quite ready for a black president.
And you know, and to me that's sad, because I think that there needs to be and again, I hope in my lifetime that this will happen, and I definitely pray in my son's lifetime, because to see this anger and this continual bashing from centuries ago, I
Right.
mean, it's insane that we're still to this day, you know, if a Trayvon Martin situation comes up, we all get divided once again. It just seems to never end.
And it always, you know, it's so funny. There's, not to belabor the point, we will wrap this up, but if it's the vice versa, if
Yeah.
it's the black on white crime, it tends to go unnoticed these days. We don't hear as much about it. When it is white on black crime, whether it's the police officer in Ferguson, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, it is always highlighted and placed under a microscope to the level that it takes the regular people, and I say you and I are regular people who don't really even think about color on a day-to-day basis. It makes us stop and pause and say, wait a minute, what is all this?
Well, because
where is all this anger
that's
coming
where
from?
it needs to stop. It needs to stop to where, okay, black on white, white on black. It needs to stop. I mean, once we
does.
get to that point in life, I think we can live in a decent society and in our own communities. But it has to stop. If not, we're going to continue to see it. It's not going to go away.
Well, before we wrap up, I want to give a thank you to Commissioner Regina Hill. I actually went to Mrs. Smith's memorial service, and for some of you who may not realize this, last year we did a project called 24 Hours for Mrs. Smith, where we rebuilt a home from the ground up. It was really nice. I didn't expect it, but we got called to the front of the funeral home. Let me tell you something right now. When I'm buried, I want to go through this particular black service. It was amazing. I got to see a prayer dance, a praise dance or whatever, and these people were just so gracious, and her proclamation proclaiming it Mrs. Smith Day and all the different things that were associated with it. Rest in peace, Mrs. Smith. We're going to miss you. We hope it gave you one good year.
Yeah.
You know, and in the end, she died a wonderful life at 97.
Yeah.
So with that said, keep in mind, folks, we are coming to you back on television a week from Sunday at 11 a.m. We have an amazing show slated out in West Orlando. Can't tell you where, can't tell you who. But we're excited, and we can't wait to actually film that show next week for you, so you can actually get to see a little bit of the other side of this person.
Yeah.
It's going to be pretty good. Everybody, we'll see you again on Sunday at 11 on the Front Porch.
Hurry on, join us on the phone.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Front Porch Chat with Randy and Friends. Now we have Betty on the porch with us, and we're going to talk to Betty about some of the things that we just talked about and see what her feedback is to that. You know, one of those things we just talked about, of course, was the vagina issue. You know, Betty, you may not realize that, but a supervisor texted another, was it principal or
A
teacher?
principal and an assistant principal.
Texted that the vaginas were on fire in the school. They were on fire, Betty.
Right.
So what do you think about the fact that
The vagina's on fire?
What do you think about? What do you know? What do you think about the fact that they
Sorry,
texted
Glenda.
that? Does it offend you knowing that two men shared this about the female staff members of the school?
Well, I don't think it was right, but that's the way it goes, I guess. You just have to go with the flow and say how you feel.
I don't know.
Go with the flow. I do
Betty,
that.
Betty,
That
Betty,
was a
tell
good
me,
one, Betty.
What
Oh
do you
my God.
think about racism in
Oh.
America? Do you think racism is alive and well, or do you think it doesn't exist?
Oh, I think it exists, because you still have the people who haven't grown up. They will never grow up. They won't accept it.
What do you mean when it not accept it being that it's from years ago? I mean, things that happened in our past and they just can't let the past go? Is that what you mean?
I think that it is in our past, but I think people want to keep it in the present too. They don't grow.
Right. I see what you're saying.
They don't grow. People don't grow.
Yeah.
They don't grow up in a sense.
That picture that was posted, I mean, it was from a very young lady. This was not somebody that,
Betty, do you believe the Ku Klux Klan is here in downtown Orlando or anywhere around us?
Yes.
You do. So you believe that there are still factions of that and that white supremacy exists and all those issues. And so is it a fair and reasonable comment then for the black community to feel like they're still kind of hiding from those folks in the white sheets?
Yes, but it's not just a white and black issue. I think it's all cultures. Some people don't like Hispanic. I don't understand why people don't like different cultures. I like different
Well, I
cultures.
mean, that's a valid point she's bringing about Hispanics, because I didn't know this until I started dating Hispanic men. That drink to that one.
Oh, yeah. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
That they actually, there's different cultures, like Dominicans, Puerto Ricans.
And they don't like each other.
They don't like each other. Like, I
didn't know that either.
I never understood that.
Puerto Ricans do not like Mexicans. Mexicans do not.
Well, no,
Cubans,
it's all
over the
over.
place.
It's all. I mean, I can't keep up with it. I honestly can't keep up with it.
That's
But
a good point.
yeah, I mean,
I can't either.
And Hispanics, I mean, I can't even tell who's who, because Hispanics are usually the dark hair, dark eyes.
Oh, she almost said they almost all look alike. That's what you almost said.
No, I did not.
So I mean, when it comes to white people, what would be the comparison?
Well, that's the thing.
Hoosiers versus folks from
Well,
Miami?
white people. I mean, we kind of all get thrown in the mix,
Yeah.
I think. But no, but I'm just saying it's kind of odd that it even matters anymore. I mean,
Right.
why does it even
We're in
matter?
a flight
That's the
pattern.
point.
Yeah. We're in a flight pattern. Right with the executive
That
airport,
is a
just so
good
you know.
point.
Yeah.
Why does it matter?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you why I think it matters sometimes, because when we're filling out forms, federal forms,
Well,
Right.
they ask you all these questions.
they ask you white?
When you fill out a
Black?
job application, they want to try to find out, are you white, Hispanic, or other?
Yeah. And when is that going to go away? I mean, I think that's what keeps the division. Why do I need to tell you what I am?
don't think that everyone is ready for it to go away.
Yeah.
I don't think that blacks are ready for it. I don't think whites are ready for it.
Wow.
And I don't think Hispanics, Asians go through the rest of the various cultures. I don't think we're quite ready for it to go away.
Yeah. That's
There's
sad,
too much
isn't it?
accountability to be held.
Well, I'll tell you this: my
Right.
son doesn't know color. That's all I can tell you. That's it. I mean, that's where you're gonna have to start it. You got to start at young ages.
But you know what? I'm barely 36 and I don't know color.
I love how you try to get away with that.
Well, I mean, look, I can get away with it, but I mean, the reality is that we grew up not knowing color.
Yeah.
Right.
It wasn't part of our
Right.
upbringing. So, hello. So, I mean, it's one of those odd things, and it's a very difficult thing to try to manage in your psyche. Betty, we have an interesting show coming up next week. We're going and traveling to West Orlando. We're actually going to
Wow.
be going right back on television at 11 o'clock on Sundays. We're excited about that. What do you think about that?
I think it's great, as long as I'm on the film.
We gotta have Miss Betty on the film.
I do think it's great.
Betty, you're getting soda all over you. You got soda all over you. Oh, don't tell them where we're going. You can't tell them where we're going, Betty. Don't. 'Cause there'll be helicopters hovering over and everything.
They'll be looking for us.
All the haters,
Yeah, but you know
the
what?
haters will be
But you
chasing
know what?
you.
It's going to be perfect timing, because next weekend is the Bay Hill Classic.
Oh, is
Right.
it? No.
Cheers to that. We get to look at some good-looking golfers.
Hey,
Betty is a big
Tiger
fan of Tiger
Woods in
Woods.
there?
No,
There
she's a
you
big
go.
fan of Tiger
Is he
Woods.
even playing
I
anymore?
love
The
Tiger
darker the
Woods.
berry, the sweeter the juice.
I love Tiger Woods.
All right, everyone, we're going to wrap this up. Thanks, Betty, for coming to the porch. This will be coming to you, I guess, this Sunday. We'll actually be hitting, but we'll be back to you a week from Sunday with our first, I guess, official live show, if you will. It's going to be amazing. We're excited about it. We have some amazing guests coming on. I said amazing twice, I think.
Yeah.
It must be-
Amazing.
It must be this water.
Sure.
All right, everybody, thank you for joining us on the front porch, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.
Come on and join us on the front porch. On the front porch with Randy and friends.
Hi, I'm Sandra Fitzgerald, the associate producer of Front Porch Chat with Randy and Friends. If you're interested in sponsoring or advertising with our program, please email us at frontporchchatwithrandy@gmail.com. Thanks for watching. Cheers!